Hello, TNA fam, and welcome back to the impzonepod podcast. We're here to talk more TNA wrestling shenanigans. And well, I didn't actually know whether I was gonna come through and bring this up, but the on NXT this tonight, the TNA Knockouts Championship is up for grabs. So I think we better talk about it. I don't think Jordan Grace is going to win. Honestly, I don't see it. Guys, I don't see it. Like, why would she win? Like, why? Like, I could get your idea of saying, oh, yeah, she could win and she could be the Knockouts champion and or whatever. I just don't see it. I don't. Again, I hate the whole hot potato, the title, hot potato, hot potato, hot potato, hot potato, hot potato. You know, like, no. And that's what I said before with WWE. Like, stop hot potatoing all your titles. Stop being an ADHD company. Stop just, pause and say, okay, cool, we're going to let this ride for a few months. Not like, oh, we might let this go for a few days or whatever, a few minutes, whatever. No, we'll change our mind. No, we'll do it now. What? That's what I mean. Like, that's the only way I can see, like, a change happening. But I'm hopeful that TNA is like, dude, what the frick? Like, this is not your title. This is our title. And we don't have ADHD. So we don't want the title to change. We want this story that we've got going to keep going. And to eventuate at a certain point. Plus, like, it was only built up, like, last week or whatever it was on the pay-per-view. And now it's happening tonight. Yes, it's in the main event or whatever, but I'm very much like, so what? Because this is what I mean. Like, it's just like, yeah, sure, this is the thing that's happening. I don't know whether to completely finish up, like, discussing this before it's actually happened. But I have no hype going in, basically, dudes, because there's been no build-up. Like, you've got a few days worth of build-up, and whatnot. So, there's just not enough story for me to believe that, hey, this is what's going to happen, or, this is something that they would do, or this is something that they would think about. I think it's something for Kalani, honestly. And, like, Jordan has held that title 3 times. She could hold it a 4th, but whatever. I don't really see that. I think that this is something to help Kalani get over and, keep doing what she's doing and keep going along the path that she's on and keep her story kind of going. And right now, and I don't understand why TNA isn't really doing episodes right now. Like, I really don't know. Like, I think apparently, like, this week there's some, like, Halloween special of some sort. I think that's what's going on. So, whoop-de-friggin' do, another snooze episode there, guys. I guess, like, again, I could say the same thing that I say. It doesn't really hurt them because, they don't get any numbers on they barely get any numbers on their TV, and it never really changes anyway. So what's the difference? But just having so many goddamn episodes in a row of just like, oh my god, there's nothing's happening and nothing's coming, like, and then you're going to turn around and say, oh, by the way, tomorrow we're doing all this stuff. That's just, like, really annoying. But still, like, yeah, I don't see Grace winning the belt. I don't see it, like, at all. So that is my prediction right now. I have recorded this, like, a couple hours, maybe an hour or so beforehand, I guess. I'm not sure. I don't know where NXT airs exactly here in Australia, what specific time. So yeah, I don't know. And I still don't know. I don't know whether to stop recording and re-record another episode to say, oh, look, I predicted it, or just to pause this, wait till it's done, or whatever, and then see, oh yeah, they actually did change the title, and then say, oh my god, why are they so full of ADHD? Or then go, oh yeah, this is what I predicted. She didn't lose it, and she's going to retain it. So I suppose there's going to be something happening at Turning Point, whatever. But what? Who knows? And then it's, whatever. It's like, obviously, if we get to that point, which I'm pretty sure we will do, it's like, well, she's not losing it at a Turning Point to anybody, because you're gonna book it for the day before, and then you expect people to turn around and go, yeah, this is gonna happen. No, come on. Like, serious. For real. So, that's where I'm at right now. I'm trying to decide whether I should pause. I don't think doing 2 videos really does a whole lot. So, and like, a lot of people don't watch a lot of these videos, so maybe watching like the first minute or 2 of these videos is the thing, like saying, hey, well, here you go, I was right, or whatever, and it'd basically be just saying the same thing that I've said. But I guess it's kind of cool to see the title on the line over there, and like, it'd be cool to see if they can actually help like build the story a little bit for whoever's gonna challenge her or whatever, or maybe even a number 1 contendership. Like, maybe that's what you do. You just do some big number 1 contendership matches. Like, I would be fine with that. I would be 100% fine with that. Like, do battle royales, whatever. I don't care. So as long as they actually produce something for people to, get invested in quickly, and those are the things that get people invested quickly, is like, here we're going to have a couple battle royals or a couple different elimination style matches of some sort, and that's going to determine who challenges at Final Resolution or whatever. Same thing with like, at least you've got Kazarian and Nick Nemeth there kind of for the men's title. They have the Courier shot, so you could at least say, oh, well, let's pull that trigger, or say, one of them is cashing in at that point, to say, let's do this, which is, I think it's going to be Kazarian, honestly, because they've got Nick Nemeth a lot on the Final Resolution posters. So, but then again, you could just say, oh, well, Nick Nemeth, is going to challenge at Final Res, and then Kazarian's going to challenge later or something, or whatever else it is. Or Nick Nemeth wins a number 1 contendership and says, oh, well, I don't need the Courier shot, you can have it, or whatever else it is. Something like that, or whatever. So, I don't know. But yeah. It's an idea, at least. But anyway, guys, that is pretty much all I've got to say here right now. In some ways, it is funny how, like, without anything there, it's somewhat more interesting as well, because it's like, well, what can they do with 1 day turnaround just to get people to be like? But then again, the thing is, like, you could say the same thing about their TV with their more minor pay-per-views, or whatever you want to call them, that they don't really get that much interest and intrigue, and it's might be better to be like, okay, instead of like focusing in on these little pay-per-views, we're going to use these little pay-per-views to build our big pay-per-views. And that's fine too, but it's like, dude, you still need to like have something that people are going to be like invested in for a month. Not just like, oh, 1 day, here we are. That's why it's like, but at least like with the Call Your Shot guys there, at least you have that looming kind of thing of saying, oh, well, they could, cash in at any point, or whatever it is, kind of thing. So that could happen, So, I'm going to challenge, Santana for a match right here, right now, in the main event tonight, do that, or tomorrow night, whatever it is. Bam, there you go. You've got your match, and And then you say, oh, well, we're also going to have a number one contendership battle royale, and that person or whatever, some number one contendership, that person will get a title shot at Genesis or whatever. Simple. Do simple things. And then say, okay, Nick Nemeth's going to challenge at Final Res or whatever it is. Like this, that's it. Like, we've come to an agreement, between Nick Nemeth and Kazarian. I'm going to challenge at this point. He's going to challenge at that point. He might have to challenge me because I'm going to win the belt. Whatever. That sort of thing. Or, like have a coin toss. They can't decide. I'm going to get, he calls the heads, tails, whatever, and he gets to decide that he gets to go first, and then Nick Nemeth has to go after, or whatever. Something like that. Anything. It doesn't matter. As long as you have something, and then you go into Genesis, or if you go, okay, we had this person win at Turning Point, whatever it was, and now we're going to have this, number one contendership, or whatever it is. And then they're going to win that. And then they're going to go on to Genesis and challenge Santana there. So at least you've got a couple months worth of build behind somebody. Maybe they aren't quite going to be, at that level of saying, oh, yeah, they're going to win the belt, obviously, or whatever. Obviously, probably not. But still, at least we're doing something with somebody. And meanwhile, quietly, not so quietly, but sort of quietly, we are building this other person or this other feud or this other thing, especially like with Mustafa Ali or with some other people along the way, so that, hey, we've got another person, we've got, Eric Young, and we've got some other people that will challenge Santana for that belt, and whatnot down the road. Something, anything. And you just go from there. So yeah, hopefully we will find out. So in some ways, I certainly can't wait to find out what they're going to do. But yeah, like, it is also really like, it'd be better in many ways if we knew what you were doing, because then at least you can promote it and say, hey, this is what's going to happen at this event for a month or whatever, instead of just, well, you better tune in tomorrow, type thing. So I don't know. But yeah, like, that's maybe the issue. Like, their issue is like, well, our minor pay-per-views just don't go up or down, so it doesn't really matter. Let's just do this thing and then we'll go from there. So I don't know. But yeah, guys, anyway, hope you have enjoyed this one, and hope you will join me again in another one.